All right, good morning, everybody. My name is Jen Jones. I'm the VP of Career Development. I am super excited to do our first Zoom video panel company-wide. We had 87 people register for this, which is awesome. That is the beauty in being able to do it using our Zoom video technology so that we can do this from any location and so that we can pull panelists from any of our 29 offices. The panel today is real estate tech, because I've been getting a ton of feedback and questions when we're training different technology platforms and just brainstorming sessions on how can it interact with this CRM or with what I'm trying to do on social media, and hearing that it would be really helpful to get some insight from some of the other agents using those systems. So that's the goal for today, is for everybody that logged on today to hopefully walk out with a technology system, a tool, a social media idea that you can go check out, research, and hopefully implement to continue to improve your business. So I'm going to jump in and introduce our panel and let them all share a little bit about themselves. So I'm going to start with Beth. We have Beth Valle. Beth is from our Baltimore Metro Clarkview office, which is in Baltimore. So go ahead, Beth. Is there anything you want to add?
Yeah, no, good morning, everybody. I'm excited to be on the panel. I have been with Home Sales since January, so almost a full year, and just loving being a part of the family and looking forward to sharing whatever I can today with you all.
Okay, and then I have Jesse Hirsch. Jesse is part of our Centerville office and is the team leader for the Jesse Hirsch team.
Hi everyone. I'm Jesse. Been a realtor for about 10 years, started in just after the recession started in 2009, 2008, 2009. And I love it. I've been with Home Sale the full 10 years.
Awesome. And we have Darius Ramsey from the Camp Hill office and from the Darius Ramsey James Rhodes team. Good morning, Darius.
Good morning. It's a little early for me, but it's like, oh, drove by my breakfast spot, like, hey, I don't got time to get breakfast. But yeah, this is Darius. I've been with Berkshire Hathaway for quite some time. Actually, today is my 14th year anniversary of being a real estate agent.
Oh, that's awesome. Congrats.
Yeah, right. So yeah, I've been doing this for a while. So yeah, I'm looking forward to, sharing, knowledge with you guys, and hopefully you can get something out of it.
Awesome. Sounds good. So like I mentioned, as we were logging in, there is a question box, there is a chat box. So as we are going through everything today, for those of you who have logged on, please don't hesitate to use the chat box or question box. Let us know if you have something specific, or if there's a tool that maybe you've not tried that we didn't talk about, and we can see if we have any info we can give you on that as well. So we're going to kind of go in the same flow as the worksheet that I sent you guys. That way it's easier for you to take notes and kind of keep track of everything. So we're going to start with CRMs / lead generation systems. And I know Jesse has some Buffini referral maker feedback that he's going to go ahead and share.
Yeah, so I know you probably can't see my screen like for the full website, but if you want to jot down referralmaker.com, that's the CRM I use. It's a Buffini, Brian Buffini, they do coaching, real estate training. It's their CRM, and it just fits the way I do business. It's more relational than say some other coaching programs or some other training programs. And then they have a CRM with it. And this is the mobile version. I just sent Jen a few screenshots of it. The one on the far left is kind of like your win the day, win the week, your goals, your calls, your notes, your pop buys. They go with those three things. If you're familiar with Buffini, that's what they do. And then you can also add relationships. You can add to-dos and things within the app. This is all in the mobile app, by the way. The desktop platform is awesome too, but they just revamped it actually yesterday. You can see to-dos there on the third screen, your purchase anniversary reminders, all those things like that. And then the one on the far right is really cool. That's like where all my past clients are, all of them. So all over and it organizes them by A pluses all the way down to C's. So, you know, you rate them. Your A's are your best, A plus is your best, and your A's, you know, you try to touch them, keep in touch with them. So if you're in the neighborhood and you want to do a pop by, you can sort them by, okay, where are my A's and A pluses? I'm in Columbia, you know, and it'll pop up, and you can pop by some people. So it's a great tool if you're close to somebody. If you've got stuff in your car, you know, you can stop in and see them. You know, where, you know, you can even map out a route. So it's really neat.
So Jesse, think about your business and your day-to-day schedule before you started using this and now, and can you talk us through how that looks different and how it impacted it?
Yeah, good question. Like, I would say I probably started using a CRM regularly 6 or 7 years ago, but until I got this system, I used Exact Contact before this. But until I got this system, I wasn't as intentional with tracking my activities. It makes it super easy to track where your business is too. Their desktop platform has a budgeting platform. It has like transactions you can keep track of, pending, active, closed transactions, and see all your numbers. So it's super helpful in that way too.
Awesome. So one of the things that I was looking at these yesterday, one of the things I noticed is I really like how it kind of breaks it down into like win the day versus win the week. So
Right.
It helps you kind of plan, if I can't get to all of it today, how can I make sure I'm still staying on track?
Right.
How are you kind of leveraging that and using that piece of it?
So I don't, to be honest, like I don't track my activities as nearly as I should. I mean, I'm still making calls. But you know, just being real with you guys, but it's there. So if I'm like, okay, I've got calls to make, I will go in and I'll use the win the day piece. Like if you click on the calls made, which you can't do it here, but if you click on that, it'll show you, okay, here's the 6 people I need to call today, and I'll do it, you know, and then that wheel goes blue and you're like, okay, you know, and then you log in every day on the desktop platform and you can see your progress to where you're winning the week. And something is better than nothing, right? I mean, but it's still good to hit your goals for the contacts, but you got to always be doing something. And this kind of helps me stay on track. And it's the CRM all in place.
And the other thing you had mentioned, it's helping you track your activities, and it's kind of helped you to figure out what's working, what's not working. Is there anything that you've started changing or doing differently since you were able to track that?
So on the desktop platform, you can see all of your numbers. And I won't do it. I'll just do it from memory. But there's like, you can see, I forget where I was going to get what I was going to say, but something, okay. Yeah. You can track your like average sale price, for instance. I can see my average sale price was, okay, I just pull an example out, 250. I want to take it to 300. So you can track your activities. You can adjust based on that, and to try to hit that a higher average sale price based on what you're doing and who you're talking to.
So it kind of gives you like the ability to adjust your goal, and then, okay, here's exactly the action items you should be taking. Here's the people you should be calling, writing, popping by, and keeps you on track to reach that goal. Yep.
When you put your goals in, it breaks it down completely. You put your goal in. Okay, I want to make $200,000 a year. All right. This is who I need to talk to. This is what I need to do to get it done. And it boils it all the way down to 3 contacts a day or 6 contacts a day or whatever that number is. So it's very specific.
Jesse, you're a team, so this is a good question. Does your whole team use it? Do you just use it? How does it work for people that might be a team?
So Kate's on my team. I just have one agent that sells with me. So we actually got her integrated into that this year. So she's starting to put her, potential clients and active clients in so I can see them. And it's really helpful. We're not utilizing it fully yet, but they do have a team function, which makes it really nice. I don't know, honestly, how it would work for a larger team. You get 10, 20 people in a team, or I haven't used it for that, but I don't know how it compares with other platforms like Boomtown or whatever. But
so is she kind of like another user in your account, and you have the ability to have oversight over her action
Correct.
items, and
Yep.
that way you can kind of coach and help and work together on it. If there are leads in there, are you able to like assign or delegate those? Like if you have one in your account and you go, no,
Yeah.
you know what, I'm going to have Kate take this one. Are you able to?
Yep.
Okay.
I can delegate it. I can assign it to her, and then we can keep track of, okay, that came from me, which is nice, for bookkeeping and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Okay, I think we got through most of the questions that came in. Any other questions for Jesse about the Buffini Referral Maker CRM? Jesse, anything you want to add? Any other ways that you've been kind of utilizing it, or how it's kind of changed your business and your approach?
I would say the biggest thing again is tracking numbers. Agents don't track their numbers, where their business comes from. And I've been tracking since 2015. So now I can go back 3 or 4 years, actually, 4 full years, and say, okay, this is where my business is coming from. I only made this much in 15. Wow, I went to here. You know what I mean? So it's like you can see the progress, and it's really neat. And that's been the biggest thing for me, just to keep track of all that.
Yeah, I think it's so important, and one of the most important pieces that we sometimes miss. Do you have any idea pricing? If not, I know we can look online and send that out.
I believe, they've run specials once in a while. They had one going for $20 a month, but I think it's regularly like $35 or $39, if I remember right. But go ahead.
Sorry, you go ahead, finish.
I was just going to say, for $40 a month, it's worth every penny, because it's your business. I mean, it's yeah.
Do you have it integrated with anything? Like, is it tied to any other systems or platforms you're using?
I don't. Well, I do a monthly mailer, like still do snail mail, and an email that's kind of tied together. But they're working on integrating it with, like, I think it might already be with Outlook Calendar. They actually, or not Outlook and iPhone stuff. They have a place too where you can actually record a video now. I believe they just rolled it out yesterday within the email, like within an email. I didn't do that yet, but I'm excited to try that. So
yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yep.
Do they have drip campaigns? Are you using any drip campaigns in there?
Yeah, I can put people on a monthly automatic email. They have lead drip campaigns. There's a separate spot for leads and a separate spot for clients when you actually have a relationship with them, business relationship.
And does it have any kind of lead generation, lead capture, or is it just kind of the people you put in there and keeping in touch with them? Like, are you leveraging any capability of it being a lead funnel? Yeah,
it's all the people you put in.
Okay.
If you're not adding to your database, it's not going to send stuff out to them.
Okay. That helps.
Yep.
All right, I think we got through most of those. So Darius, go ahead and jump in. I know you're using Chime. You've used a couple other systems in the past. So if you want to kind of give us some history and where you lead up to where you are now, that would be awesome.
When we first started out, we were using Top Producer. So Top Producer was the big thing there. It kind of reminds me, when people did come in, can set them up on a drip campaign, and kind of keeps you updated. It's like, hey, I need to reach out to this person at this point. We ended up leaving Top Producer to go to like a third party system. The one thing that we didn't like much about Top Producer is that we couldn't see who was coming back to the website. Top Producer was kind of like follow up, but you couldn't send them properties out of Top Producer. You couldn't see when they came back to the website. So we went from Top Producer to Boomtown. Boomtown was great. Everything about Boomtown was just fantastic. But for us, it got to a point where the price became not necessarily an issue, but we found another system, which was Chime. which is just as great, but it was a cost savings to us. So we weren't spending $1,500 a month just for a platform. So we went over to Chime, still allowed for us to, set up drip campaigns. We can import leads. It lets us know when a person was back on a website, what property they've been viewing. So it was a really, great system for us and what it is that, we do. Allow for us to, track our, income, return on investments. Like Jesse was saying, tracking your numbers is very important to us. So we, in conjunction with Chime, we use a product called Sisu, which allows for us, our agents to track how many phone calls they made, how many contacts they made, how many text messages they sent out. I know it sounds like a lot, but, our team, we really function off of our daily win makers, which is basically a spreadsheet where we wrote out what we thought would be income producing activities, basically. So how many mailers did you send out? How many thank you cards? How many appointments did you set? So we track them on a daily basis, and then at the end of the week or at the end of the day, we'll add them into Sisu, which is like a dashboard for us to kind of see at a glance where our business is. So we kind of, went through the motions with the different CRMs because we recognize how important CRMs are, and just allowing for us to, when a lead comes in, we all know that, most of your internet leads are not going to be buying a home right away. They're 18 months, 24 months out, but oftentimes we lose track of them. One of the things that even Berkshire Hathaway pointed out is like, hey, they can send over a lead from Realtor.com. Agents may call once or twice, and then that person's gone. So having a good CRM with drip campaigns and to-dos and things of that nature allows for us to make sure that we're reaching out to potential buyers, internet leads, the appropriate amount of time to hopefully win the business. So CRM is always going to be very important to us. Looks like we'll probably be sticking with Chime for a while, and it's pretty cost effective for us.
So for you guys, it's your database, it's what you've put into it. It's also kind of like your lead funnel. It's basically the back of your website.
It is the back of our website. Each agent has their own website. So when they're sending out homes for a person's search, it's going to go back to their website, which is a CRM. We can see everything that goes on. So it really is the backbone of everything that we do on a daily basis.
Right. So it's all tied together. You had mentioned Sisu, which I've never heard of. Can you explain what that is and how it works?
Let me see. I'm going to try screen share, so hopefully it works, right?
Okay. I don't know if I have to change anything for that, but try it. Oh, there you go.
All right. Let me see. All right. So this is basically Sisu. What it allows for us to do is, I'm going to put it in display mode real quick. So at a glance, we can see like, hey, granted, all of our numbers are off because, we had some turnover with our agents, but, we can set up on a monthly or a yearly basis on how many first-time buyer appointments that you have to go on, how many buyer signs in order for you to reach your goal, how many phone calls do you need to make in order, in our opinion, in order to get one appointment, you need to make X amount of phone calls. This just allows for us to go through and track as individual agents and also as team leads on whether or not agents are putting in the work that they need to do in order to close the business that they need to close. So at a glance, we'll know like, hey, we didn't set enough appointments last week. So this week we need to go ahead and make X amount more phone calls in order to get those appointments. And like I said, it's just an app. We have leaderboards and things of that nature. See, of the agents that are on the team, who's closing what, and we try to make it competitive. We want the agents to have fun with it too, but they also to see what everyone else is doing too. So, once again, this is just something that we use just to kind of, track and make it fun for the agents. And not, once again, we tell all of our agents, it's not like, hey, you didn't make any phone calls this week, so we're going to cut off your leads. We're not doing that, but it's just one of those things where, agents know like the work that you put in now, you're going to see it in your paycheck 30 to 45 days from now. So if you had 2 weeks or 3 weeks of not doing what you're supposed to do, then you're going to see it in your wallet. So it's just a way for people to kind of hold each other accountable.
So just to make sure I followed this is a separate system that you have integrated with Chime. It's not a piece of Chime.
Correct. It's a separate system. We're working with Sisu to kind of get a better integration. With Chime, their integration with Boomtown is spectacular. So we're kind of working with them to, get a better integration with Chime. I know they have pretty good integration with Sync and some of the, other CRMs that are out there.
So you're using this for the tracking, but you're using Chime for the actual activities and like being told what activities to do, marking off that you did it. Can you kind of walk us through what that looks like?
All right, so big shout out to Terry Bauermaster for this. But this is our daily win makers that we print off. You know, every month, everyone gets 30 of them to go to the month. And it's just a matter of, you know, at the end of the day, like, who did you talk to? You know, write down the person's name. Now, as you can see here, you got phone calls made, talked to, left messages. Did you send them a handwritten note? This is kind of, you know, all the things that we track in Sisu, but these are all the things in our opinions that we feel as though can get a person closer to a deal. So at the end of the day, or at the end of the week, or at the end of 2 weeks, a person, you know, our agents will go in and just update Sisu. You know, we'll put the data in, how many phone calls we made, how many text messages we sent out. So this is what our daily win makers, you know, is the easiest way that I can say it.
So they're kind of using this as like a daily input sheet, and then at the end of the week or after a certain time period, taking this, logging it in Sisu, so it's pulling all of it together.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. I'm just making sure we're connecting the dots for everybody and kind of painting the picture of how you're integrating and flowing. Are you doing dialing, and from what system are you dialing from?
All right, so I just really started dialing this week, actually, to make it more of a point of emphasis for me. So I had Mojo for a while. Mojo was great, but I wasn't really using it enough to justify the cost of it. Luckily, Chime does have a dialer function, so I can go in and mark off all the people. Let me see real quick. So let's say I want to call a bunch of people. Let's go nurture. It's just a matter of selecting everyone that I want to call for that day and send them to dialer. And then the system will go ahead and load everybody up and kind of keep track of, you know, who I talked to, what numbers were bad numbers, who did I schedule appointments with, things of that nature. So, you know, Chime does offer a built-in dialer package. I may actually end up going back to Mojo. I have to talk to James about it because it is an added expense. But I get really, really bored with calling people, you know, because you're, especially single line, because you're kind of waiting for the 6-7 rings to voicemail to pick up. But I know having a triple line dialer will help cut that time down significantly. So I might be going back over to Mojo so I can get through more calls in a shorter period of time.
Any other integrations? So you have Chime and Sisu working together, and Chime is also not just your database management, but your lead funnel. So it's for all of your internet leads and your follow-up. Do you guys have that integrating with anything else?
Chime integrates with like Cloud CMA, Realtor Zillow, like everything kind of funnels into Chime. Okay. And the only other piece that I use actually is Remind. I do use that a lot. That's just, you know, downloaded into Excel spreadsheet and uploading into Chime.
Okay. Any idea what the cost is for Sisu?
Sisu's kind of expensive. It's, I think for us, and I think it's just a matter of how many people that you have on your team. Okay. But I think for us, I think it was like $3,000 for the year. I don't know. That's a question for James, and he's not right here.
That's okay. That's okay. We can find out, and I can send it out to everybody. And I'm sure it's on their website too, if we would check it out. So thinking back to like when you started with Top Producer, and even maybe before you had that in place, how has this really made a difference in, like, from your daily activities to just kind of your overall productivity in business?
It definitely makes you more focused. Like when you know what you need to do for the day, you know how many people that you need to call for the day, you know how many people that you need to call for the week. So it definitely helped me just be a little bit more focused, you know, give me a reason to, you know, treat my business like a business. So every day I know that I'm coming into work. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check my emails. Second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look into Chime to see what all I need to do. And then there's a portion of my data I know I'm going to lead generate. So once again, it just helps me keep track of those leads that came in that I'm like, okay, I haven't spoke to this person in 3 months. You know what I'm saying? So I know I need to go ahead and make that phone call to someone. Otherwise, you know, I've had leads in here that I just never called. So, you know, having a good CRM, as far as it changing your business, is going to allow for you to not let anyone fall through the cracks.
Yeah, and one of the key things I think you said is and you said it a different way, but it's keeping everybody in front of you. Without a CRM like those two, and I know Jesse, yours does it too, you lose people, or you only have certain people that you tend to keep top of mind and remember, and then other people potentially kind of slip through the cracks. And I pulled up a stat that is in it's in the converting internet class we teach. 95% of on-lead leads are abandoned within 4 days. However, 60% of those same leads end up purchasing a home within 12 months. So I would say definitely making sure that you guys are all having follow-up plans in place. So whether it's funneling right into a CRM or you're importing it into a CRM, making sure that it's in some kind of follow-up system so that they don't become that percent abandoned that do end up buying with somebody else later, because they do eventually convert.
One of the things that we use for motivation, both James and I, is like we'll go back in and call someone that we did let fall through the cracks. And we'll, like, hey, I actually ended up buying the house. So it was kind of like, all right, that potential commission, we'll write up on the board. Like, this is how much you lost on potential commission because you did not make that follow-up phone call and that person ended up buying. Yeah. So, we use that as motivation whenever that happens. Hopefully it doesn't happen anymore. But there's still, times where I'll call someone who I haven't touched base with in a while. And like, you know what, we already bought. And that's on me. I'll put it in the notes. I'll put it out there for everybody to see. I missed out on this because I didn't follow up properly.
Yeah, I like that you guys make it fun and competitive and challenging without it kind of turning into a negative accountability, which I think is super, super important. I don't see any other CRM questions, but as you guys are thinking about what Jesse and Darius were just talking about, feel free to add any other questions. Jesse, now that we figured out the screen share, is there anything you wanted to pull up and share, or do you think you're good?
I'm good. You guys can. It's super easy. You can even do a free trial in Referral Maker if you want to check it out.
Oh, cool.
And one thing I will add, it is cool. It's cool, Darius, to see you guys doing what you're doing. I would probably say, and reiterate, the Referral Maker CRM is probably for your like individual, maybe real small team type fit. But a lot of people don't have a CRM, so it's still good.
Okay, and then just some questions coming in to clarify. So the name of the program Darius was using to track the business and track those action items and activities is called Sisu. It's SISU. And then Chime, Darius, do you have a ballpark for Chime pricing? And I know that probably depends on users too.
Yeah, it depends on the number of users that we have. It's a couple $100. It's not necessarily, super cheap, but I don't really know how much it's going to be like for an individual agent that just wants one or a couple different people. But it's something that we can find out.
Yep. Okay. And then for both of you guys, how was the setup process with those systems? How did they help you with setup? What did that kind of look like to get everything up and running?
For us, it was a little difficult, only because coming from Boomtown, like we had people in there that had searches set up. When you have your searches set up based on filters, transferring those filters over was pretty easy. But when you have your searches based on like a map, a person wants to be in a particular area, that could be a little bit difficult because now you got to go back in and individually, go through each person and set it up. But getting like action plans and things of that nature, that was actually pretty simple. Getting it set up was pretty smooth. Some of the research that we did before we picked what Chime said that, like sometimes, it could suck. Luckily it didn't suck for us. So it was actually pretty smooth, pretty simple. Their customer service, it take, 24-hour turn time, but that's pretty typical. So
yeah. Jesse, how about with Buffini's?
Yeah, for me, when I started, I just took an Excel file and put stuff in. I mean, I imported from my database was smaller too 4 or 5 years ago. So I just took, the people that I had from Exact, dropped them in an Excel file and imported them in, and then, called everybody and just, set the expectation for what they were going to get through this new CRM. So
awesome.
Yeah.
All right. I don't see any other CRM questions. So we're going to jump right into social media. So Beth, can you kind of kick us off with just an overview of how you're using Facebook, how you're using Instagram, what you feel is working, maybe what you've tried that didn't work and you changed?
Sure. So yeah, social media can be, I actually have always said I did marketing before I came to real estate. So I had a little bit of a good background, but social media in itself can be a full-time job. So it's really a lot to keep up with. But I think if you find what works for you as far as scheduling, the way you're going to post, like there's definitely benefits to it. I don't think, you know, it's not like Zillow where you maybe see an exact lead come through, but there's, you know, you're definitely getting in front of people constantly with social media, which is really, at the end of the day, what we're constantly trying to do is just, you know, have different touch points and just keep our face in front of family, friends, and clients. So I pretty much use everything. I use Facebook, I use Instagram, LinkedIn, even like Nextdoor, which is a community site. And the nice thing about Facebook, which I wish all of them did this, is you can schedule your posts. So I pretty much try to carve out at the beginning of every month, just like an hour or two or an afternoon where I can sort of plan out all of my posts, and everything's just scheduled. So, you know, from friends and family, it looks like I might be just randomly making posts every day, but really I've taken the time ahead of time to plan it all out. So that way I don't miss anything. I don't miss a week. I don't miss a couple days. And then of course, throughout the month, I'm jumping on here and there doing videos, or if I see an article in the, you know, local newspaper that's worth sharing, I'll throw that stuff in too. But I at least know that for the most part, I've made, you know, at least 4 or 5 posts every week by doing that scheduling. So that's really easy. Instagram doesn't let you do that, so you have to kind of be more on top. I pretty much do a old school, this isn't very techy, but I do a pen and paper calendar, and I write out, again, here's what's going on Facebook, here's what's going on LinkedIn, here's what's going on Instagram. So each week I just kind of refer to that, and it reminds me, okay, I gotta throw something on Instagram today. And that sort of thing. So
I think what's super important to highlight about everything that you just said is how dedicated you are to scheduling it and keeping it consistent, because I think consistency is a huge portion of social media that sometimes we miss. Sometimes it's kind of that dreaded, oh, I have to keep it updated, and it slips because it's not always the, you know, the highlight of your day. So I think really carving out that time at the beginning of the month to making sure that it is a priority and it does stay consistent is really important. Is there a certain place, is there certain content that's like your go-to content, or a certain place that you're pulling content from? Like, what, can you talk to us a little bit about your content that you're using?
I think everyone tries to find like that like secret spot where they can just have somebody essentially do it for them and they just sort of share it. But you know, Facebook is all, social media is all about you. That's the whole purpose of it. So I kind of can't stress enough that there's really no one place that you can just share articles. It's really just about putting yourself out there. I try to do a combination. So I try to do some article sharing, but I don't do a lot. I know that there's a lot of sites out there that realtors can pay for, and it just gives them like an article every day and you just post that. I don't try to do more than 1 article a week, just because, you know, when I look at it, I try to look at it from my standpoint. What do I want to see on other people's pages? I don't want to see, you know, my friend who maybe is in the finance world every day posting about, you know, an article about how to save money. Like, you know, I kind of want to see more personal touch. So I try to just do, you know, it might be a picture of me headed out for a whole day of showings. It might be a review. I do post my listings, but again, that can get a little tiresome for people to constantly see like, oh, I settled on this, and oh, my listing, and oh, my price reduction. You know, it doesn't relate to everybody. If they're not looking for a house, which the majority probably of your crowd isn't, it's just when they do, they want to you want them to remember you. So it kind of can't be all about your business. It has to kind of really be a good blend of also just your personal life and your personal, you know, thoughts on things. I follow a lot of pages that are local pages. So here I follow the Baltimore Sun, the Baltimore Business Journal, And so they're always posting stuff about local events or just things that are going on in the community. So those are easy things to share. You know, the Orioles might have a special on their game Friday night, so I post that. Stuff that's going to kind of relate to them that they might be interested in. I try to do things that are going to engage people.
Yep.
You know, maybe it's some sort of contest, or it's a picture and you're asking a question out of somebody, just to kind of get people to interact with you as well. It's also important to engage with everybody else. So you want to, you know, don't like everything that everybody posts or comment on everything, but you do want to spend some time, you know, engaging with the people, your past clients on social media, and congratulating them or liking something here and there. So you're constantly kind of keeping that communication open between people. Other content, yeah, I mean, I think we get that Engage 101 that does have some articles. I actually keep a Pinterest board, and so anytime I see like an article or a video or an image that I like, I just kind of put it on that board, and then every month when I set up all my social media tips, I just pull things right from there. So I'm not sitting there for 2 hours like, okay, what am I going to possibly post for the next month?
I think that's a key piece of it too. And it kind of ties back into that planning ahead for consistency. Is you're essentially building a library. So you're essentially looking at stuff as it comes across, compiling it, and then you can easily pull from it. How often would you say you're posting?
Pretty much every day.
Okay.
And then LinkedIn, I try to post a minimum of 3 days a week. Instagram for me tends to be a little bit more of a personal site.
Yep.
So I don't really like to overload that with too much. But I still post on that probably once or twice a week.
Yeah. So I think that's really important to note, is that there's a different audience. Instagram and Facebook is a little bit of a different audience. I will totally confess that one of the things I struggle with is when I do have agents asking me, hey, how can I just pay somebody to do it for me? And I will say that I die a little inside because I am right with Beth with it is that personal piece. And with you guys being in the relationship business, it's keeping that relationship. When you're working with clients, they feel like they've became your friend or became a part of your family, and they want to keep that feeling. And by seeing what's going on with you personally on social media, they still feel like they have that connection. If it reverts to all cookie cutter, they kind of feel like they're losing that. There's a bunch of questions coming in, so I'm going to try to feed these to you. So interaction is key. Obviously, the more people interact with what you're posting, the more people you reach, because they will see. If I'm friends with Darius and he comments on your post, even though I'm not friends with you, I might still see it, because being friends with people that are interacting and commenting and liking just increases your reach. And you've mentioned a couple ways that you're doing that. What type of posts do you feel do get the largest reach and the most engagement from?
It's definitely more the personal ones than the business ones. And it's video. I mean, you probably all have heard it, but video is definitely what people are into. It's what Facebook is pushing on people's walls over your just text posts. So I know people don't like to do video. I don't really like to do video either. But, you know, a bunch of people have always said, like, people know what you look like. They know what you sound like. So you doing a video and posting it, like, it seems weird to you, but it's just, you know, them listening to you as if you're talking. So definitely try to get yourself into video. It doesn't have to be long. You know, I'll just do a quick sneak peek of a house that's coming on the market. I might do a tour at an open house, or it just might be, you know, a quick video about here's what happens on a home inspection, and post it on my page. So those kind of things definitely get probably the most engagement, or sometimes just a funny, creative picture, something just kind of silly. But I mean, I get interest in when I post a new listing or price reduction or open house, but for the most part, it's like Jen was saying, it's the stuff about you that probably gets the most.
Yep. And I love that you're mixing video in and kind of getting out of your comfort zone and doing that. Content for video, that's a question. It didn't come in, but I get that all the time. How do I know what kind of videos to do. Is there something, are you kind of going back to that Pinterest board and using some of those ideas and just doing it via video, or how are you kind of getting some of
sometimes.
those
So if
ideas?
I see an article come in, like sometimes instead of me just posting the article, I say, all right, I can do this in a video. I can basically take this and do a 30-second video, you know, staging tips, or, you know, again, any of those articles that you see that are real estate based, just think, can I do this in a video format? And then, like I said, I do when I'm at an open house, I do a tour. Just flip the camera around. That's really easy. That it kind of gives, you know, shows the house off. I'll do sneak peek videos right before a listing is going to come out, me outside of the house with a quick, you know, here's the price, here's when it's coming on. Yeah, those are probably the 3 general topics for videos that I do.
Are you using Facebook analytics to are you kind of tracking what's working, what isn't, and how are you doing that?
I do, probably not as much as I should. I will boost certain things. I used to do just a general everyday ad campaign for just like my page in general. And then I don't know, I found that it might be more worthwhile for me to boost certain posts instead. I just found I wasn't getting a lot of return on people liking the page for what I was spending. So I pretty much will just boost certain posts. Those are specifically business related. So if I'm trying to push a listing or an open house, I did start doing a couple months ago, I posted the open house as an event. So you're used to seeing events, and I feel like Facebook has pushed those on people's pages. So if I know of the open house a week or 2 out, I'll just make an event out of it and boost that. So that's, you know, something else that you can do with the, you know, and you can do a video on that page as well.
Okay, and then I'm gonna kind of keep it focused on just content for now, and then we're kind of talk through some more boosting and ads, and I want you to talk about Nextdoor and Facebook Marketplace too. But Jesse, do you want to kind of chime in while we're still on content and talk about what you've been doing and what's working and the approach that you have right now?
Yeah. So I kind of have a separate like Facebook page from my business page. Or my personal for my business. There's like the constant debate about that. I mean, I post on both. I post mostly non-real estate, probably 70 to 80% non-real estate on my personal page. Or if I do, it's kind of, you know, hey, I'm showing houses today, or something else, you know, it's kind of woven in with that. The business page, I'll post a mixture of new listings and stuff. And you know, I have followers on that one. And then I'll use that to boost posts too, to target people. For example, I'll just talk about this real quick. I had a listing near Franklin and Marshall College, and as a way to get additional exposure, I was able to target, you know, people probably know you can do this, but target boost. I mean, I had, there's over 1,000 people I could hit just through targeting by people who liked F&M, students or faculty within a 30-mile radius of Lancaster City or a 40-mile radius. I could even go to New York City and target that market to people who like Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and boost and add to them, and got a bunch of likes and clicks that way. And it's like $30. So it's something to show your seller, hey, I'm marketing your property, trying to hit that specific niche. You can do that through Facebook, and you can show the results from that.
Yep. So Beth, can you talk a little bit about how you're doing your ads too?
So I have a business page as well, and that's the majority that I do the postings on. And then I will share certain posts from my personal page, or I'll tag myself in my business page post. And I do. So if I usually do first-time homebuyer seminars, probably once, like every 3 months. And so I'll do same thing. I'll do a targeted ad. So I go back and forth between having them in Baltimore City and up in the county. So based on that, you can pretty much choose certain zip codes, age group, you know, all sorts of different demographics. And then that way my event or the post for those will be targeted to people that fall in those areas. So it just depends on what the kind of post is, whether I target it or not.
And then we've talked a little bit about how Instagram's a different audience and it's a little bit more personal. What kind of content are you guys posting on there just to change it up a little bit?
So I usually do the Instagram stories when I'm posting about work. And that's the little circles up top on your Instagram account. And it's like a Snapchat thing. So it basically stays there for maybe a day or two and then it's gone. So that seems to be what a lot of people are using instead of just a standard post. So like last week, I had 3 settlements on Thursday. So in the morning, I took a picture of the 3 gifts and I just put 3 settlement day. So again, it's work related, but it's kind of like this personal touch to it.
Yep.
You know, so it's usually every once in a while I might put an image, a still image of something up there, or I always take pictures with my clients on settlement day. So those are usually a post that I'll make. Yeah. How about you, Jesse?
Yeah, I do. I'll do Instagram. I'll use the stories. I don't use Instagram a whole lot though. I go in spurts with that, and like you said, it's more personal for me. Like, I mean, people can follow me and they do, but it's like, you know, I'll try to do certain themes. You know, things you see at showings, just funny stuff that I know is going to get a lot of hits.
Yeah, that's a good one. We always see like crazy
Yeah.
things while showing houses. So sometimes it's fun to be like, oh,
yeah,
yeah, that's like a perfect thing to
I
post
have a
about to get
hashtag,
people.
yeah. For that, you know, so
What's your hashtag, Jesse?
things you see at showings.
There you go.
So
I love that because people do, like, real estate is such an interesting industry to people. People that have never really gotten to learn about it. They really love kind of seeing that life in your shoes. And I think the pictures and the interesting things that you guys see when you're out looking at properties kind of gives them that glimpse a little bit and really piques their interest. And Jesse, you talked about hashtags. Are you guys using hashtags? How are you using them? And what's your strategy there?
oh yeah, I don't use them as often as I should. I'll be the first to admit. And sometimes when I get busy with the day-to-day transaction stuff, I forget to post, or I forget to, you know, I do schedule posts on my business page, but on my personal page. But yeah, I'm doing hashtags, as many as possible. You can't. I mean, I guess you could overuse them, but you don't want a page. But like, you know, put several. You know, put 5, 6, 7, 10 hashtags in even sometimes. It really works to drive traffic to a particular thought or idea, because people who are looking, for those who don't know, people who are looking for Lancaster, PA, you put a hashtag Lancaster, PA homes or something like that. If they click on that on someone else's, they may end up on your Instagram feed or your Facebook feed.
Awesome. Darius, do you want to elaborate on what you just put in the chat box there?
Well, one of the things that came up a little bit earlier was, you know, scheduling your post. Later.com is this a website that you can actually go into and you can schedule a month worth of content to go out. You can schedule on a day, you can mark the time, you can put whether or not you want it to go to all the platforms or just 1 or 2. I think there's a free version, and of course there's a paid version. I'll go with the free version. It just kind of allows for you, like, if you don't have a lot of time to post every day, but you do have 1 day a week, you can actually take that couple hours, and then schedule out your whole entire month. And it allows for you to kind of store all your content in there. You can add more content later. It'll let you know, like, hey, you already posted this once, or you didn't post this picture yet. I know when I was really trying to, put myself in a position where I can schedule on a regular basis, I just went in and found a whole bunch of different content, added all in there, so I can go back in and say, hey, I haven't posted in a while. So I'll go ahead and do that. For those of you who are kind of like me and like, I want someone to go ahead and do it for you, it's not something that I advise, but there are products out there. Personally, we use Agent Crate for our business page. We use Agent Crate to kind of just go and make posts for us. Yep. It works for us, but we'll also go in and put some of the personal stuff too. For my Instagram page, a lot of my stuff is kind of like, I'm working with a buyer, this is their experience, or things that are team related, so like if we did a bowling event here for our team, so I just posted pictures of us at bowling, just because I wanted to put our team out there, but not always about business. It's not always about work.
It's not always a real estate push.
Yeah, I have more I like Instagram more than I like Facebook, so I'll probably post more on Instagram than I do on Facebook. But I also see that, you know, people will reach out to me in my inbox and like, hey, you work with a friend of mine, or I've seen this picture, I'm going to be looking here in 6 months, and things of that nature. So Instagram is just a little bit more, it's fun for me. But I would never force someone to go to a platform where they just don't use, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're not going to use it, regardless of what it is that you do, like if you're not going to really buy into it and make sure that you're doing it on a regular basis for 6 months or 12 months, don't do it. You know, you got to be, consistency is always key no matter what it is that you do.
Yep. And I think the key there is it is okay to automate things, and it is okay to offload some of it, but it's not okay to lose the personal piece. And that's where Darius said, yeah, we are automating some of it. We are using content creators, but we're still doing the personal pieces. And I think that's the important but in there. That's the important piece in there. So we had a couple questions come in. So I'm just going to take some time to feed you guys some of those so that we don't miss them. So with Instagram, are you guys using the business Instagram accounts, the personal ones, or both? How are you structuring that?
For me, I use both. For Agent Crate or whoever posts for them, they post only on my business page. I post on my personal page, but I also post on both of them as well. So I have both on Facebook and then also on Instagram. I do have both. I'll probably post to both. But when you have, you know, on your Instagram account, you can actually say, hey, I wanted to post to my Twitter. I wanted to post to my business page. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're all integrated. So, you know, posting on one, you can post on others. But some people will tell you, like, you know, the same thing that you put on Instagram, you don't want to put on Facebook at the same time. Because a lot of times most of your followers are about the same.
Yep. So Darius, you had said later.com is what you use for the scheduling. What are you using for the content creator?
I'll actually just whatever I find this when I'm BSing, you know, or on Instagram or something that I see is like, oh, I'm gonna go ahead and get this meme or whatever, and I just kind of just make sure that I try to add it up there so I'll have something to do. So I don't create it, but I'm also, you know, I'll go into like Agent Crate to see what kind of content they have out there, breakthroughbroker.com, some of those other places that have content kind of already pre-made or at least templates that you can take and use.
Okay, and then Beth, Jesse, what about you guys? Personal, business, both? How are you doing that on Instagram?
Instagram is just personal for me.
Yeah, same for me too.
Yeah. I don't have a business page on Instagram.
Facebook, I have both. Instagram, I just have my personal page.
Okay, and then it looks like, so everybody, yep, 1, 2, 3, everybody put their Instagram handles in the chat box so that you guys can follow them and take a look at them. Okay, so then Facebook business page is public. So everybody that had talked about using a Facebook business page, it's kind of like a mini website in your Facebook account. That's public. But what about things that you're posting on your personal Facebook page? Are there certain things that, like, how do you decide your audience? Like, do you keep them just your friends? Are there certain posts that you do make public for that specific post? How are you guys doing that?
I take the approach is like, if I have to separate whether or not this is to go to the business or public, then I don't need to be posting it. So anything that I put out there, I just put out there for everybody. I really don't distinguish between the two.
Yeah, I think my personal page is not set up as a public. It is private. That's just how I always had it set up. And my business page is obviously public. So if I usually don't do specific business posts on my personal page, but I will share things that I post from my business page onto that instead of like a double post. I just share whatever I post. And I don't do that for everything because then it's just double posting for most of the people that are following you. So for the most part, yeah, my personal page is private, and then my business page is public.
And I have, my business page, I'm the same way. My business page is public. My personal page is private, just because it's nice to have to control who sees it. I mean, I have a lot of Facebook friends on there, but it's like, it's still nice to control. Okay, I don't know. I'm just weird like that, I guess. But it's like, these are the people that are seeing my personal page or whatever.
Awesome. Okay.
I will say
go
too, I
ahead.
know you put my Instagram, I think that's my Instagram. If you're in, I would probably follow my Facebook page, business page, over Instagram, because I do a lot more content on the Facebook page than my Instagram. Like I said, my Instagram's probably only like 2 or 3 days a week. So if you're looking for something different or some content to be able to pull, it's easier to do that from following me on Facebook.
And then one thing, and I tried to catch everything that you guys typed this way. In the chat box where it has 2, just make sure it says all panelists and attendees. Otherwise, attendees won't get it. I kind of went through real quick as you guys were finishing up there and caught everything and put it in there, but just if you're going to keep using it. And then another question that kind of came in, a lot of us, and I'm going to guess that this is a statement, like a lot of us realtors are posting the same content. How can we stand out? And before you guys even answer that, one thing that I think everybody should kind of just be aware of, you guys are all friends with each other. Your clients probably are not. Your clients are typically friends with you because they're your connection and maybe 1 or 2 other realtors that they happen to know. Like I know I get on social media and my whole news feed is like everything that you guys are doing, which I love because I love having that connection with you guys. So mine is full of like the articles and the listings and then all the funny showing things and everything that you guys are doing. So it is the same content for me, but when it's a consumer and somebody you're connected to, it's not. They typically only have maybe 1, 2 realtors in their group of friends and their group of family. So their news feed is not going to be as flooded as mine is, or even as yours is, with you guys being friends with each other. But is there anything you do feel like you are doing that kind of stands out or is different from what you're seeing typically get posted?
I would just say be yourself. Like,
Right.
be who you are. People like you for who you are. They use you for who you are as a realtor. So, I mean, yeah.
Yep. I think it's the personal stuff, which is why that piece is such an important piece to mix into what you're scheduling and listings and the articles and everything that could be from a content creator. I think it's keeping that good mix there. So Beth, can you tell us about how you're using Nextdoor and Facebook Marketplace?
Sure. So Facebook Marketplace is right on your Facebook page to the left navigation. And it's basically, I don't know it inside and out, but it's basically where people can list things that they're selling. It's sort of like a Craigslist almost that Facebook has. So I use it to post a listing for sale. And I pretty much just copy and paste all the information that's on Bright right into Facebook Marketplace. So you get a little bit more traction and targeted audience. I'm pretty sure you can designate what locations or zip codes. And then Nextdoor is a community site. So you have to actually live in the community to be a part of that zip code. So you have to put your address in, and I set it up a couple years ago, so I don't remember exactly, but so, I can only be in it for my community, but it's thousands of people. So I definitely will. It's the same thing. It's just a site for neighbors to communicate about different things going on, post events and for sale items, that sort of thing. So I post as well the listings in the community. I post there. And then I also, like I said, when I do first-time homebuyer seminars or if I have different events, client events, I will post it on their page as well.
Okay. So anybody else using Marketplace or anything similar? No? Okay. So video content, what are you guys using to do your videos?
Like listing videos or social media videos?
Any of them. And I think Beth, you do some straight up on your phone. You've used BombBomb. Can you talk us through a little bit about your video experiences?
Sure. So, when it comes to listings, I have started to do videos instead of just photographs. So kind of depending on the house and the price point, I do a video. It's basically the guy kind of touring you through the house. Since video is kind of the way that we're going, I've added that on a couple months ago. And I get 2 versions from my photographer because I know Bright doesn't allow us to put the branding stuff on. So one video is just basically the tour of the house, and then I do another video, and it's like a 10-second snippet of me talking about the property in the beginning, and then it ends with my branding information. So that way on social media, I can share that video. So I will do videos with that. I also do, I subscribe to something called BombBomb, and it's basically a video that it gets inserted into your emails. So it's just a personal way to communicate with people outside of social media videos. If you want to send, again, it's just all done through email. So you basically take a video of yourself, and it goes directly, inserts directly into the email. So when someone opens it up, they don't have to click a link. It's kind of like this, still like this 30-second of you talking, and then they click the video and it opens into a pop-up window, and then you get a personal message. So I will use that in a couple different ways. I send mass emails out with that, or I'll just send a one-on-one to a client. You know, hey, I haven't talked to you in a while, just wanted to see, you know, what's going on, if you're looking to buy or sell, that sort of thing. Sometimes I'll just do informational videos. So yesterday I sent a BombBomb that's talking about how interest rates are really low right now. So that will go to, you know, certain targeted groups. And that service, I think I pay $500 or $600 a year for that. And I think you have to pick and choose. There's a lot of stuff that we've talked about that costs money. I'm only 5 years in, so I try to find as many free or low cost items as I can, which is why social media is so great, because you don't have to pay a lot for it. But I like BombBomb just because it allows, you know, we send emails constantly, and it's like, you know, print mail. It's getting to be, people just get so much junk that they don't even bother to open your emails. So when they open this and they see you talking, it just, you know, the conversion rate on then opening it is a lot better than the old kind of email. So I think that's really good. And then the other videos that I'll recommend, it's called promo videos. And so if you're not really quite ready to film yourself yet, this site has hundreds or thousands of different videos, and you pay for them. I think you can pay monthly. I'm not sure if you can pay individually for them, but you can post them right to your social media sites. And they're just really funny, small little videos. They're really creative. They're done really well. And you can brand them at the end with your photograph and your contact information. So I'll use those maybe once a month. I'll mix those in with my own videos and put those on Facebook or Instagram.
Awesome. Anything else you guys want to revisit about social media? I didn't see any other social media related questions come in, unless I missed something. If I missed something, please stick it back in the chat box. But anything else you guys want to add that maybe we missed? Okay. Darius, do you want to talk to us a little bit about Remind and how you're using that?
Remind is something that's actually everyone has, at least a free version through Bright. What I like to do personally is, like, I'll identify a neighborhood. I will kind of go through and kind of really dissect what I want. It allows for you to break down, hey, I just want people who've owned their home in this neighborhood for more than 6 years. They have a certain amount of equity. You can search through people in a particular neighborhood that's just distressed, or whatever it is that you kind of information, how you want to narrow it down, you can. So what I'll do is I'll take that data, download to an Excel spreadsheet. Sometimes with the paid version, they can give you like numbers and email addresses if they have it. I take that information from Remind, and then I'll run Facebook ads to those people, just to kind of give them an idea, like, hey, I'm Darius, I'm a real estate agent, I work this neighborhood. And then that's going to go in conjunction with me, you know, doing cold calling to the neighborhood, seeing how I can help someone. So it's a platform I've been using for about 3 months now. I really like it. I think the information has been great. So I'm going to continue to go ahead and use it, identifying, like, hey, I'm looking for those people who have a medium sales score, which is Remind's way of saying, like, hey, based on activity, there's a strong likelihood that this person is going to want to sell in the next 12 months or want to sell in the next 24 months. So I can kind of identify, like, all right, those are people I'm going to get phone calls to, or I'm going to send handwritten notes to. So it's been pretty good for me so far. I'm looking forward to just kind of seeing what the rest of the year is going to play out with, because I've only been in for 3 months, and I know I want to give it at least 6 or 12. So it definitely is a pretty cool platform. You can get a lot of information from the free version. You can get even more information from the paid version.
Okay, and then Beth, the other thing I have for you to talk about is QuickBooks.
Oh, okay, sure. So QuickBooks, you've probably heard of. I use it for one specific reason. So it's basically just like an online bookkeeping accounting program for you. I think we get a discount through the Realtor Association, one of them, but it's like $5 a month. So you can keep track of all your expenses, everything for tax purposes. But what I really like about it is, which another agent had told me about, is it will track your mileage. So it's pretty much runs all the time. And so every time you get in and out of your car and you travel to showings and appointments or everything, it's tracking everything. So I used to, at the end of every month, or every time I got in the car for an appointment, I would write it down. So at the end of the year, when my tax guy asked me how many miles I took, I had track of it. So this is so much easier. It just, you log onto the app, and then you can actually just swipe left or right for every trip, whether it's personal or business. And then if it's business, you can designate it to whatever categories you want, listings, showings, and then you have a constant total for what your mileage is. So in January, I'll just open the app, pull whatever the miles was, and send it. So it's a lot more efficient than writing it down daily or monthly.
Keeping that like tablet somewhere and logging it. Any other apps, websites, anything else you guys are using that you thought of and want to add in?
MyLogQ is similar to QuickBooks as far as tracking your mileage. That's something that we use. We use QuickBooks as well, but James does all that. So some things I do, some things James does. So there's definitely a lot of tools out there. Like basically, we're in an age where wherever it is that you think you might need, someone probably already created an app for it.
Yep, absolutely.
I use Everlance. It's like, I think it's 50 or 60 a year. I just set it and forget it, and then I see the mileage.
What's it called, Jesse?
I'll type it in.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Everlance. Okay.
Yeah.
So does it allow for you to separate your business from your personal drives?
Yeah, I think I can set it. I just do all at once, honestly. I probably should separate it, but I do all at once, and I take a percentage of the mileage and just separate it out for my accountant. But like this is business and this is personal. So
okay, and then a couple questions came in. Is there a good way or platform that you're using to find phone numbers for people that you want to reach out to via something like Remind?
Okay, so from what I found,
I know you've been looking.
I'm not afraid to spend money, but I prefer not to. So between like Remind and fastpeoplesearch.com, that's what I really use. Fastpeoplesearch.com is actually free. So you can search by a person's name, you can search by the address, or you can search by a phone number. So like if I get a random call and I don't know who it is, then I'll go into Fast People Search and see if I can pull it up. But that's just a good way. And like I said, what I do like with Remind can be time consuming. So if I'm downloading 1,400 people, and Remind only finds 60% of them, well, I still want to try to find the other 40% to be more effective. So to go through each one and type them up in Fast People Search, it can get time consuming, but I'm hoping it pays off.
Awesome. All right, I'm just going to do a quick scan. As we're wrapping up here, if there's any other questions, go ahead and type that into the chat box or the question box, and we can make sure that we get that. Somebody said there's a bunch of QuickBook apps in the App Store. Is there a specific one? Do you know what the icon looks like, Beth? Maybe that'll help.
It's green. I know that.
Yeah, it's like the green backwards Q and B.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Well, yeah, it looks like
a Q, like that, and then it's in a green background with like the white outline of the two letters.
Right.
Okay, John, let us know if that helps you figure it out. If not, we can we can maybe send you a screenshot of it or something. Okay, I think that's it. Somebody did ask about social media compliance. What I would just kind of reiterate with social media compliance, it's the same for everything online. Make sure you have the company name, either the broker name, full broker name, or logo. Office phone number if you're using a cell phone somewhere, office address, state you're licensed in. So you do have to have those things on there for everything that you're doing online. It's pretty easy to do on a Facebook business page. You're going to go to that about section. You can type licensed in Pennsylvania with the broker name in the description, gives you fields for office phone number, address, and gives you the ability to do it. It doesn't have to be in every single post because that post is originating from the business page. So as long as you're doing it in your profiles and your about sections, you're going to be covered when you're posting things. But yeah, if there's any detailed compliance questions, you can always reach out to agent services at wholesale.com, and agent services can help you with compliance stuff. Okay. All right. Thank you guys. I think you did awesome. I've gotten some text messages while we've been on. I've gotten some feedback in the chat box that it was really helpful and awesome. So I really, truly appreciate you guys taking the time this morning to kind of share what's been working for you so that everybody can at least walk out with a couple things to go investigate and try out. So I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So
Thanks
as
for
much
having
as
us.
I'm not a person that likes to
Thanks.
talk, I am going to say if anyone has any questions for me, feel free to call me or text me. If I sound short and it's over 5 minutes, don't get offended. That's just how I am. So feel free to give me a call if you have any questions specifically for anything to ask about.
Yeah,
Yep,
same here.
absolutely.
All right.
Yep.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Everybody have a great day. I
you.
did record it, so I will post the recording. It'll be on Home Sale Center. Click on the Team Home Sale icon, and then it will be under Home Sale Training and the Career Development folder. So the recording will be posted by the end of today. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Thanks.
Super.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, you too.
See ya.
Bye.